So you've done it. You've hit C1 English. And seriously, that's a huge accomplishment. Well done.
It really is a major milestone.
But maybe you're feeling, well, like you've hit a kind of wall. You're good, you're really good, but you want to sound, I don't know, truly exceptional, effortless, like a native speaker.
That's such a common feeling at C1. You've got the foundation solid, but now it's about refinement, moving from just being correct to sounding genuinely natural and nuanced.
Exactly. Less like you're reciting rules, more like you're just talking effortlessly.
Yeah, finding your authentic voice, but in English.
Okay, so that's our mission for this deep dive. We want to help you scale that wall, break through that C1 plateau, and go from very good to, well, mind-blowingly good.
And just to be clear, we're not going back over basics here. This is for you, the advanced learner, someone ready to really dissect the finer points.
Right. And we've got this fantastic resource guiding us today. It's a document packed with tips specifically for C1 learners called C1 Level Tips to help improve your English level.
It's excellent. Really practical, actionable advice. We're going to pull out the best bits.
So we'll be looking at things like mastering real conversation, adding depth to your vocabulary, tuning up your fluency, nailing subtle grammar points, reading effectively, writing with impact, and even getting the cultural context right.
It's quite a range, but yeah, we'll unpack it all.
That's great. Let's dive right into conversation then, because, you can probably order a coffee perfectly by now, right? You've aced the textbook stuff.
Oh, yeah, in your sleep. But real-life conversations, they're messy, unpredictable. Your pre-learned phrases might not cut it.
That's the challenge, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the document really stresses this. Practice realistic, spontaneous conversations.
Exactly. It's not just about speaking. It's about thinking on your feet, adapting, reacting in the moment.
Okay, so what does that actually look like? Practicing spontaneous conversations.
Well, think about, say, a job interview, and they throw you a curveball question you didn't expect.
Oh, yeah. Happens all the time.
Or maybe you're in a friendly debate and you need to build an argument right there and then, or even just everyday chats that suddenly switch topic.
Or negotiations where, every single word counts.
Precisely. It's about navigating those twists and turns smoothly.
And the document gives this great example, this chat between Alex and Maria about an ethical dilemma at work. It's not black and white.
No, definitely not. It's what Maria calls a gray area. Alex is thinking about maybe bending the truth a little for the company. Tricky stuff.
Right. And Maria handles it so well. She says, "What was it? That's a tough call."
Yeah, and then I believe in transparency, but in competitive markets, some might argue it's strategic rather than deceptive. It's so nuanced.
So nuanced. I love that.
Yeah.
She doesn't just jump to a conclusion. She acknowledges the complexity. That's C1 level thinking and speaking.
Absolutely. And the document points out other useful phrases from that chat, like that's a gray area itself, or I see where you're coming from, showing empathy, or even the diplomatic, let's agree to disagree, and if I were in your shoes, which is really stepping into the other person's perspective.
So these aren't just phrases to memorize, are they? It's about understanding how they function in a conversation.
Exactly. They help you manage the flow, show understanding, handle disagreement gracefully. They make you sound less robotic, more human, thinking in real time.
Okay, but how do we practice this? It feels a bit abstract.
Well, the document has a really practical tip. Record yourself. Pick a prompt, an ethical dilemma, a current event, whatever, and just talk spontaneously.
Oh, interesting. Record yourself. I can see how that would be useful, but maybe a little uncomfortable to listen back.
It can be, but that's where the learning happens. Listen back critically. Ask yourself, where did I hesitate? Could I have been clearer or more subtle? Did I miss a chance to use one of those nuanced phrases?
Right. And other tools for that to make it easier.
Yeah. Things like VoiceThread or SpeakPipe can help. They can give you maybe a slightly more objective perspective on your own speech.
Okay, cool. So that's conversation. What about vocabulary? Because at C1, it's not just about learning more words, is it?
No, definitely not. You probably have a pretty wide vocabulary already. The focus shifts now to depth. Understanding the subtle differences between words, their connotations, how they fit naturally together.
And the document says something quite counterintuitive here. Ditch the endless vocabulary lists. Why is that? Seems like C1 learners would want more words.
Well, it's because isolated words don't give you the full picture. At this level, you need to see how words work together in context. It's about understanding the architecture of the language.
Architecture. Okay. So learning words in context.
Yeah.
Like collocations.
Exactly. Those natural word pairings. Like you say, strong coffee, not usually powerful coffee, or bitter disappointment, not sour disappointment. It just sounds right.
Gotcha. And then there are idioms, of course. Kick the bucket, spill the beans. They don't make literal sense.
Right. Very tricky. And connotations, too, the document highlights this. It's the sort of emotional feeling a word carries.
Like cheap versus inexpensive.
Perfect example. Both mean low cost, but cheap can imply poor quality, right? While inexpensive just sounds like good value. Understanding that emotional weight is key.
So how do we build this deeper vocabulary then, if not lists? The document mentions thematic clusters.
Yeah, this is a great strategy. Instead of random words, you group them by topic. It helps create these mental connections.
Okay, Mike.
So the example given is business and innovation. You might cluster terms like disruptive innovation, scalable model, market saturation, profit margin, competitive edge.
Ah, I see. So you're learning a whole set of related terms together.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And crucially, you learn them in action. The document defines disruptive innovation, for example, an innovation that significantly alters or creates a new market and then uses Uber as a real-world case.
Okay, that makes sense. So you see how the word is actually used.
Yes. Same for scalable, meaning able to be expanded efficiently. The example sentence is like, the app is scalable and can handle millions of users. You see how it functions.
Right. It's about understanding the word in its natural habitat, not just its dictionary definition.
That's it. And that's what lets you not just understand these words when you hear them, but actually use them confidently yourself, naturally.
Brilliant. Okay, so we've got better conversations, deeper vocabulary. Now, how do we make it all flow? Let's talk fluency,
Right.
that effortless quality.
Ah, yes, fluency, the sort of holy grail for many learners, making it sound like you're just gliding through the language.
And the document has a technique for this shadowing. So it's interesting.
It's fantastic and maybe a bit underrated. Essentially, you listen to a native speaker podcast, news, audiobook, whatever, and you try to repeat what they're saying out loud almost at the exact same time or maybe just a fraction of a second behind.
Okay, so you're literally shadowing their speech.
Yeah, but it's not just repeating the words. You're trying to mimic everything, their pronunciation, their intonation, the rise and fall, the melody of their voice,
The rhythm.
the sentence stress, which words they emphasize, even their pauses. You're trying to copy the entire sound profile.
Wow, that sounds intense. But I can see how it helped tune your ear and your mouth. Any recommended sources for this, for C1 level?
Definitely. You need challenging, authentic material. The document suggests things like the daily podcast from the New York Times for current events,
Good one.
or hardcore history for really immersive storytelling, or Freakonomics for interesting discussions. The key is authentic, unsimplified English.
Which makes sense. You need the real deal. And the document also mentions specific pronunciation areas to focus on.
Yes, things that often trip up advanced learners. Connected speech, how words sort of flow together naturally, like what do you want to do, becoming what I want to do.
Right, that blending.
Intonation, as we said, the music of the language, which adds so much meaning and emotion. And sentence stress, emphasizing the key information. Nailing these can make a huge difference to sounding natural.
Okay, and tools. Are there tools to help with pronunciation specifically?
Oh, absolutely. Forvo is great for hearing words pronounced by native speakers in different accents.
Useful.
Youglish is amazing. It finds YouTube videos where a specific word or phrase is used, so you see it in context. And then apps like Elsa Speak offer personalized feedback on your pronunciation.
Technology to the rescue. Okay, that's fluency. Now, grammar. Often a source of anxiety, even at C1. But the document isn't talking basic rules here, is it? It mentions subtle structures.
Exactly. Forget memorizing basic tenses. At C1, it's about mastering these more complex, subtle structures that let you express really nuanced meanings. They're like precision tools for your language.
Okay, precision tools. I like that. So what kind of structures are we talking about?
Well, things like mixed conditionals. They let you link hypothetical situations across different times. Like if I had taken the job past, I would be living in New York now present. It's specific.
Okay. Combining past hypotheticals with present results. Got it. What else?
Inversion for emphasis. Flipping the usual word order to make a point stronger. Instead of, I have never seen, you say, never have I seen such an incredible performance. More dramatic, right?
Definitely sounds more emphatic.
Then there are cliff sentences. They kind of spotlight a particular part of the sentence. Like instead of John ate the cake, you might say, it was John who ate the cake. Or what John ate was the cake. Focuses the attention.
Nice, shifts the focus.
And nominalization, turning verbs or adjectives into nouns. It often makes writing sound more concise and formal, like The decision to postpone the launch surprised everyone instead of they decided to postpone, and that surprised everyone.
Okay, I see. So these aren't just fancy tricks. They actually give you more ways to say exactly what you mean with more precision and maybe more style.
That's exactly it. They expand your expressive toolkit.
Great. Moving on to reading then. I imagine C1 learners are already reading quite a bit in English. What's the advice here?
It's about diversifying. Don't just stick to one type of text. The document really encourages you to read widely academic journals, opinion pieces in newspapers, novels, biographies, maybe even things like legal documents or business reports if that's relevant to you.
So expose yourself to different styles, different ways English is used.
Precisely. And it's also about how you read. There's a strategy outlined.
Okay, lay it on us.
First, skim a text quickly to get the main idea, the gist. Then, if you need specific details, scan for those. Crucially, when you find new words, highlight them, figure them out from the context. Don't just rush to a dictionary immediately.
Let the context help first. Makes sense.
And the final step for really deep understanding is to try summarizing each paragraph or section in your own words. It forces you to process it properly, makes it active reading, not passive.
That sounds like a solid approach.
And
Any reading recommendations to challenge us?
yes, some good ones. Books like Sapiens by Yuval Noah Harari uses quite sophisticated language and complex ideas.
Heard great things about that one.
For articles, things like The Economist for in-depth analysis or essays from The New Yorker for really beautiful, well-crafted prose, the point is, push yourself with high-quality material.
Challenge accepted. Okay, next up, writing. Again, C1 learners probably have the basics down, so what's the focus now?
Refining your style, making your writing not just correct, but clear, impactful, maybe even elegant.
And the main piece of advice.
Edit ruthlessly. Be your own toughest critic. Don't be afraid to cut words, rewrite sentences, rearrange paragraphs, sharpen it up.
Ruthless editing.
Okay.
Okay. Any specific techniques to focus on during this ruthless process?
Definitely. Check for sentence variety. Are your sentences all the same length and structure? Mix it up.
Good point. Avoid monotony.
Think about tone. Is it right for your audience and purpose? Formal, informal, persuasive. Make sure each paragraph has a strong topic sentence that clearly states the main point. And use linking words and phrases, effectively words like consequently, nonetheless, in contrast, to create smooth transitions between ideas.
All right, those signposts. And the document has a great before and after example, doesn't it?
It does, and it really shows the difference. The before is quite basic. Many people think social media is bad. It makes people feel sad. They compare themselves a lot.
Yeah, a bit choppy. Simple sentences.
Then the after version. Social media can negatively impact mental health by encouraging constant comparison, which often leads to feelings of inadequacy and anxiety.
Wow. Big difference. Much clearer, more concise, more sophisticated language and structure. That really illustrates the power of editing.
Absolutely.
Okay, now for a really interesting, maybe slightly trickier area, cultural fluency. Idioms, jokes, sarcasm, that kind of thing.
Ah, yes. This is where you really start to sound, well, integrated. It's about understanding those cultural nuances that go beyond just words and grammar. It's about the shared understanding.
Yeah, it can feel like the final frontier sometimes. The document gives some idiom examples.
It does, like bite the bullet, meaning, to face something unpleasant or difficult because it's necessary.
Like, I didn't want to go to the dentist, but I had to bite the bullet.
Exactly. Or the ball is in your court, meaning it's your turn to make a move or a decision.
I've made my offer. Now the ball is in your court.
Okay.
So understanding these definitely helps you sound more natural.
It adds a layer of authenticity for sure, but you also need to use them correctly in the right context.
Right. You can't just sprinkle them in randomly, can you? How do you get the feel for when to use them?
That's the key feel. It comes from exposure, hearing them used naturally by native speakers, reading them in context, and then maybe trying them out cautiously, perhaps with a language partner first. You sort of develop an intuition for when they fit. Overuse can sound forced.
Okay, so observation and careful practice makes sense. Right, we've covered a huge amount. Conversation, vocabulary, fluency, grammar, reading, writing, cultural bits.
We have, but the document ties it all together nicely with a suggestion for a daily routine.
Ah, the practical application. Tell us about this daily C1 routine.
Yeah, it breaks it down into manageable chunks, like maybe 15 minutes reading news aloud, BBC, The Guardian, something like that.
Okay.
Then 10 minutes working on your vocabulary, maybe using a tool like Quizlet or Notion to review those thematic clusters we talked about.
Good. Reinforcing the vocab.
Then 20 minutes doing that shadowing technique with podcasts.
Definitely want to try that one.
15 minutes writing a journal entry, perhaps using Grammarly or Hemingway editor to help with that ruthless editing.
Practicing the writing skills.
And finally, 15 minutes actually speaking English. Maybe find a language partner on an app like HelloTalk or Tandem.
So a little bit of everything each day, like a workout routine for your English.
Exactly like that. And the main point is consistency. Even small amounts of focused practice every day add up significantly at this level.
Consistency is key.
Absolutely.
So as we kind of wrap up here, the big message seems to be that C1 is amazing, but it's really just the beginning of a new phase, isn't it?
It really is. Think of it like reaching a high base camp. There's still a whole mountain range ahead if you want to explore it.
A mountain range of nuance.
Exactly. The journey now is about constant refinement, pushing yourself just that little bit further, paying attention to those tiny details that make a huge difference overall.
So seeking out high-quality English, challenging yourself with speaking and writing, really noticing how native speakers use the language.
Yes, it's in those nuances, those subtle points, that you find the path to, well, true mastery, whatever that means for you.
And there's that great quote at the end of the document.
Oh, yeah, I love that one. Fluency isn't about speaking faster. It's about speaking better.
That says it all, really. Quality over quantity. Precision.
Mm-hmm. That's the C1 and beyond mindset.
Definitely. So a final thought for you listening.
Mm-hmm.
Think about this daily routine, these different areas. Which one or two things could you realistically start incorporating into your life?
Even just one small change done consistently can have a really big impact over time.
It's about those small, steady steps, isn't it? Towards becoming the communicator you want to be in English. So keep learning, keep practicing.
And definitely keep having fun with it.